There. So today we'll be concluding this series on negotiation. The 11th thing to note is that in a successful negotiation, both parties should be fully satisfied with the results and they need to feel that they have each won each other or no deals should be made at all. Now, consistent with your determination to enter into agreements that preserve long-term relationships between both parties, and also because I'm not teaching you how to play people. You should always seek an outcome that satisfies the both of you. Remember that you reap what you sow. So any settlement or agreement that leaves one party dissatisfied may just come back to hurt you later, sometimes in ways that you really cannot predict. So in every ongoing negotiation, you should aim for a win-win solution or no deal. When you enter into an agreement where you'll be dealing with this person again and again, you should be clear in advance that you are committed to reaching a solution that is satisfactory to both parties. So if it doesn't entail win-win for both of you, then you should simply refuse to make any deal at all. When you're determined to achieve a win-win situation or solution to a negotiation, and you are open, receptive, and flexible in your decisions and discussions, you will often discover that a third alternative that neither party has considered will show up. Okay, so this kind of third alternative solution is almost always achievable, but you just need to be willing to look out for it. It simply means that it simply requires a commitment to a win-win solution. Be creative in suggesting alternatives that get both of you more of what you want. Just ensure that you are both satisfied. Okay, so nobody has to lose. Okay, you should always aim for a win-win solution in whatever negotiation that you want to agree upon. Okay. 12th thing is, sometimes the terms of payment can be more important than the price in a negotiation. You need to understand that you can agree to almost any price if you can decide on what the terms are or what the terms would be. So if you're negotiating and you really want to purchase the item or you want to sell and the price is the major issue, then I suggest that you shift the focus of your discussion and see if you can negotiate the terms that make it possible for the price to become more acceptable. Also, I like to say this again. Never accept the first offer. No matter how good it sounds, you need to realize that no matter how good the first offer is, it usually means that you can get a better deal if only you are patient. Alright? Point number 13 is the person with the greater power, real or imagined, will get the better deal in any negotiation. Your ability to recognize both your power and the power of the other person is very critical to your success in negotiating. People will not negotiate with you unless they feel that you have the power to help them or hurt them in some way. In a negotiating session, you must have something that the other person wants, or you must be able to withhold something that he or she wants for the other person to take you seriously. Here's why you need to do your homework and be prepared. Power is a matter of perception. It is in the eye of the beholder. You can often create a perception of power. Now I'm going to share with you 5 different types and forms of power that you can develop and use to influence and persuade the other party in any negotiation. You need to remember that power is all a matter of perception. Now the first form of power is the power of indifference. The party who appears to be the most indifferent as to whether or not the negotiation succeeds often has power over the other party. As a rule, always appear slightly detached and uninterested in any negotiation. The second form of power is the power of scarcity. Whenever you can suggest or imply that the item that you're selling is in scarce supply and others want it so well and so badly, so much so that it will be out of supply in a few days or in a short time, this always helps you influence the negotiation in your favor. Third form of power is authority. When you have an impressive title or you look as though you have authority to make decisions, this image alone often intimidates the other person and enables them to give you a better deal. So when you're going for a negotiation, dress excellently, dressed with power in strong colors, look like $1,000,000, and the other party, especially if he or she is not properly dressed, will always feel a bit intimidated into giving you a better deal, or will be much more responsive to your demands. The fourth form of power is commitment, the power of commitment. When you appear totally committed to making a negotiation a success, to finding a way to overcome any obstacle to the agreement, you radiate an aura of power that often causes people to cooperate with you and go along with you. So just don't do it in a way that it will make you look too desperate. The fifth form of power that I'll be sharing here is that you can develop is the power of empathy. Human beings are predominantly emotional in everything that they do and they say. When we feel like the other person that we're negotiating with empathizes with us and our situation, we are much more likely to be flexible and accommodating in negotiating. So there are other forms of power that you could use and that you could develop, some of which are the power of courage, power of expertise, the power of rewarding or punishing, etc., and much more. So in your next major purchase or sale or negotiation of any kind, you must review the different forms of power that you want to use and also think of how you can use them to your advantage. Now, the 14th thing to note under the series of negotiation is what I call the walkaway law. This states that you really never know the final price and terms until you get up and walk away. Sometimes you cannot really tell how far down in price the seller is willing to go until you actually get up, thank him or her for his time or her time, and walk away. The power is on the side of the person who can actually walk away without flinching. But remember that while you do this, you must be polite and pleasant and so it doesn't look like you're rude. Thank the other person for his or her time and consideration and walk out. Understanding that walking out of a negotiation is just another way of negotiating. A very common tactic used by top negotiators is what is called the good guy, bad guy. Now, in this version, there are two negotiators or interrogators, especially in police investigations, one of whom will be hard and demanding, while the other will be friendly and accommodating. One will be unreasonable, while the good guy, in quote, will try to make peace by getting you to concede a little so that it looks like you are trying to appease the bad guy. It is all part of the game, and you need to be aware of it in case anyone ever tries to use it on you. So be prepared to get up and walk out of a negotiation before you even go in. Okay? The 15th and final thing to note in this particular series of negotiation is what I call the law of finality. Simply says, no negotiation is really ever final. No negotiation is really ever final. It often happens that once a negotiation is complete, one or both parties thinks of something or becomes aware of an issue that has not been solved or that has not been satisfactorily resolved. If you're not happy with an existing agreement, ask to reopen the negotiation. And if you find out that you're not happy with a particular term or condition, do not be reluctant to go back and ask for something better or different, especially in a negotiation that is long term. You need to understand that negotiating is a normal and natural part of life. You owe it to yourself to become very skilled at it. As in anything else, the key to excellence is for you to practice and practice consistently. Make it look like a game. Ask for what you really want. Ask for better prices, better terms, better conditions, better interest rates, better anything and everything. You will understand that over time you will get better on this. When you get better at negotiating and getting better deals if you can just continue asking. So there you have it on the series of negotiating. I'd like to thank you for staying through this series of negotiating. Do leave your questions if you have questions. If you have other things that you would like to say and add, feel free to comment under this and I'll be sure to respond to everything. If you've not already subscribed, please do so and like and share to your friends so they can also see it and get better at the topic of negotiation. See ya.